Hello.
Welcome to the Virtual Campground Live, coming live to you from the library at Juniper Library, Grand Lake, Colorado.
Yes, lovely log cabin kind of library. Hi, Barbara.
Hey, Barbara. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for popping on, and Jeremy, thanks for the good vibes.
Good wishes.
Yes.
Keep the internet gods happy, whoever they are.
It has been an interesting hour.
It's been an interesting week.
It has been. All right. Jeremy says,
Jeremy.
See you later. Oh, awesome. Good,
Yay.
good. So, yeah. So if you could see our setup and on Instagram there, hey, Barbara, if there's a,
there's a couple
if you look at that
on
Instagram,
for the virtual campground.
Yeah, from the virtual campground. Deb just put out there, our laptop is right up against the library window because that's where we could get the absolute best. We could steal their Wi-Fi. And so it's hopefully, knock on wood, which
Lots
there's
of wood.
plenty around here, it'll maintain.
And Mark Ellis, if you're watching or when you're watching, we're on a bad table. We're probably gonna do a little bit of that. Hey, Melinda, nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, so this has been quite the week. We have lots of things to share. Some of them good, some of them different.
Yeah.
Borrowed their Wi-Fi. That's right.
That's right, exactly. We'll give it back when we're done.
Yeah, well, they actually lent it out publicly.
That's right.
Yes,
exactly.
So we're right up against the libraries, which also means you'll see people and cars and all kinds of things going by. So
we may have a special guest pop on. We don't know.
We don't even know. So let's start with where we are. You mentioned we're at the Juniper Library in Grand Lake, Colorado.
Yes.
Which is gorgeous. We're staying out at the Willow Creek Reservoir, which there's a great picture of our site and of our view out the front of our window. We have our chair set up there. We even have our own little private beach if we go down that hill. So that's the view from our little beach. And you can see it's a little smoky up there at the top, a little hazy, because we are seeing sometimes some of the smoke from the Colorado fires. But it is beautiful and so peaceful. And except for internet, it has been exceedingly peaceful week. It's been awesome. So many of you know that today we're going to talk about the internet, and I think that highly ironic. And for so many reasons. And one of them being, would you like to tell the story of tonight?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So we planned up ahead of time to interview Cherie and Chris from Technomadia, or mobileinternetinfo.com.
Yep.
And so we had it all set up. We had found a place that had some decent Wi-Fi, and it was a coffee shop down the road, and they were gracious enough to
shout out
let
to
us.
Jump Street.
Yeah, Jump
Coffee
Street Coffee
here
in Grand
Main
Lake.
Street.
Sweet lady.
Very nice lady.
And so if you're in Grand Lake, please go
stop by. She's totally redoing it from being a putt-putt to now a coffee shop.
It's crazy. So so we were set up out there. We had everything set up and started the recording for them, I thought. So something happened. Our IT guy really messed up, I think. So we I don't know what she's doing, but we have fired him, but we could not find the recording of the show, or the IT guy didn't record it. We're not sure. So we spent a good 30 minutes with them, had a fantastic conversation, and
Barry's going to remember it all.
Luckily, I have a photogenic memory. Is that what it's called? Photogenic? Photographic?
Yeah, he doesn't even know what it's called. So that tells
photogenic.
You
it's such a good-looking memory.
That's a lie.
So I'm going to recite everything that we've learned. Actually, I'm not going to recite everything because we are going to have them on in October. They have graciously agreed to come back.
Yes.
So,
considering that this will be their third time to try to talk to us.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Then that is very sweet of them.
Yeah. So God bless them. Go to mobileinternetinfo.com after the show. And
yes, Larry, lots of lessons learned.
Oh my gosh, so many lessons. So yeah, that's our story, and I think it's time to move on.
And we won't tell you about all the other things that happened.
No,
like computers that just went dead.
Oh,
anyway, so
just so you know, those that were part of that fiasco or know of that fiasco, our computer now, of course, it's nice and lovely out here, so we're not going to have a problem. But I do have a computer ice pack underneath our laptop right now.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yes. So yes, a photographer with a photographic memory. Maybe.
Yeah.
You've met him.
Yeah. I
No.
don't, yeah.
So,
My
hi,
memory's not
Mom.
photographic, photogenic, or the other one that I can't remember. See?
So, at any rate, so lots of things, moving parts, but we are still going to talk about internet connectivity today. Again, very
Yes.
ironic, but we've learned a lot, so we have much to share.
Yeah.
So, and we are counting on a few of you in our, we know a lot of you also have some knowledge to share, because really the idea was we get asked, the biggest question we get asked, of course, is how do you get connectivity when you're on the road, especially if you're boondocking or even in some of the campgrounds. We're going to talk a little bit about all that later. For now, we wanted just to show a few things. So first of all, we have a question of the week. We started this last week, and we wanted to ask everybody.
Question of the week.
Clearly, he hasn't done anything yet with that. So question of the week, if you could let us know in the chat, what cell service do you use?
Yes.
We're just curious to see what kind of what everybody uses. What plan do you have? So just let us know.
Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint. Am I missing somebody?
There's the small ones. There's lots of small ones.
Yeah.
So let us know. Yeah. Let us know who you use. And then we want to give some shout outs. We have some celebrations to do. So let's move on to celebrating. All now that we've shared the bad, let's share the good. So first of all, we are a little late because this was last week, but happy birthday to Brandy and to Alaska.
Woohoo!
Brandy turned 1 last week and Alaska turned 3. Yay. It just so happens that not only do they get to celebrate their birthdays, but tomorrow is National Dog Day. So another day to celebrate them.
Yay.
Yeah. So see, so far, a lot of Verizons. And Drew says AT&T. It is
free.
not free, Drew. We pay for it.
Our son chiming in that his cell phone is free.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not for long, buddy.
No. Yes. Yeah. Hey, Charlie. Yes. Tomorrow is National Dog Day. And we happen to know that one of our favorite dog owners is going to be on Forever Best Friend tomorrow. Teresa Macy's going to be on with Charlie Grace tomorrow. No, it's tomorrow on National Dog Day.
Oh, okay.
So yay.
Oh,
yay.
I thought it was today.
No. So, and then also a big celebration and shout out to our friends at Living a Stout Life. They got up, I think it's their 5th of their southern, this one is southern, but their 5th guide to brewery, camping, beer, and biking guide. So, in particular, it focuses on harvest hosts that you can do around where you were on, where you can bike and beer. Oh, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Barbara, Drew, it's free for Drew because we're his parents.
Yes.
And we pay for it.
We pay for it. He's still in college.
Okay, she was on Dog Talk. Can people watch the replay of that?
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'm sorry I missed that.
Yes, I thought it was tomorrow on Dog Day.
So Living a Stout Life did.
So that's a map.
A ton of work.
One of their maps. So if you go to livingastoutlife.com, they have all these maps that show you where you can bike, find the breweries, and camp. So and harvest hosts. So
a great resource.
Great resource for folks, and they have that's their 5th. So there's several others on there.
All right. She said the replay is up. So
yay! So
after this, everyone go to Forever Best Friend and catch that replay.
Yeah. And also a big shout out to Whitney Ellis, who had her first sale of her real estate e-course, which is very cool. So we're very proud and excited for her. No, Barbara, I already paid for way too much. Yay! Yay, Brandy. And so wanted just to give a shout out to Whitney. That's exciting. I know she's been working on that for a really long time. And what else do we have to celebrate? Oh, we had several things. Also, the hoppers are starting to make mead. So
that's
they made
crazy.
Some mead. I know.
That's crazy. Not like they have enough to do. Come on.
They're redoing houses. Now they're making mead. Johnny Lightning sold his house, and the inspection went well. So that's exciting. Mark and Alouetta are increasing their solar, and they built a lithium battery.
And I want them to build another one for us.
Yes, we'll have to have them on the show, and maybe he can explain that to us.
Yeah, maybe he can just build one for us.
On the show. And Tasha got to see her new niece.
Yay.
Tasha's a fairly new virtual campgrounder, and she's been really active on Facebook, and she said that for the first time since they've started the Nomad Life, they got to see their brand new niece. So that's exciting. That's sweet. Yeah.
Let's see. Any others?
Oh, and this is a special one. Yeah.
Big
Speaking of new babies, Leah Martin, who handles the Pinterest for all of us, All of us.
All of us.
The
All of the
virtual
virtual campground. All of us. She handles it for all of us.
Yes, she does our Pinterest. She just had a new baby girl, which basically means for the next 2 months or 3, Pinterest will be probably on a slow down for us. So, but yes, we wanted to help her welcome in that new baby girl. Don't have a name on her yet, so
that's fun.
Yes, he's in grad school, so this is his last year of free Wi-Fi and free AT&T.
Although Johnny Lightning's suggesting that he go for his PhD. Johnny, look, give me your bank account number, buddy, and I'm sure he'll be glad to do it.
Yeah. So that's all the shout outs. If you guys have anything else that we missed that we should be celebrating and shouting out, please put it in the chat. We want to all celebrate as a community.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. So the other thing that we thought was fun, and again, going back to our beautiful campground.
Yes.
We have seen some interesting things this week.
We have. We've seen, first off, when we first got there, a deer and her baby. I didn't get a shot of the baby.
The
but
baby
this was just
was
out our
very
front
shy.
window of our RV. And
that's our chair.
And yeah, that's our chair. But the deer is on the other side of the chair. And so that was right outside of our window. And then some grouse. Now, you said you found out what kind.
I think it's a spruce grouse. I did ask the camp host. He said, I don't know, it's just a grouse. And that he also said they're not very smart, and they've got to be very smarter, or the foxes are going to enjoy the grouse. But anyway, there's like a family of 3 of them that keep visiting us. They visited me at the campground and also when I was down at the beach. So that's kind of fun.
They've been very fun.
Johnny, I'm proud that you have given your wife such access to the only bank account in the marriage. I think that is the smart way to do it. So yes. So those are some of the things we saw. We've also seen osprey.
With lots of osprey, yes. So there's
at Willow Creek. There's several nests.
We saw. We were sitting out on our private beach. I just like saying that.
Thank you.
And we saw an osprey at the very top of a tree. And then he must have seen a fish, he or she. Mm-hmm. And then he just dove down and he missed it, but it was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, it was. So anyway, lots of wild animals. We also got to go into Rocky Mountain National Park last Saturday and we saw a few things. So more on that later. But it's been a beautiful week. We've been here.
Been fantastic.
What about a beautiful campground. Yeah, tomorrow week. So yeah, it's very exciting and nice. So we highly recommend it. It's one of the boondockings. There's several of those campgrounds around here that you can boondock at. There is a fee. It's a rec center, a recreational area, but so there's a small fee. But there are no hookups or water or anything.
No, you're boondocking, but in a gorgeous location.
Gorgeous, and you can have a 7-day limit on your stay there. So anyway,
don't try to run it.
We did. We went, Johnny. We went over the trail ridge. We took the trail ridge almost all the way. Well, we took it to, I think it's called Deer Mountain. And then we came back up Old Fall River Road.
Yeah, there's a gravel road that goes back up to the Trail Ridge
Alpine Visitor Center.
Alpine Visitor Center. Mm-hmm. So we took that, and that was really cool. We saw moose, deer,
marmot.
Marmot.
A marmot and a fall. And the falls.
And the falls.
Yep.
So
we
cool.
actually might be showing you some of that next week or on the YouTube channel
Mark,
later.
Got some pics, buddy. All right. We just it takes me a few months to get them processed.
Yeah, you know. So yes, it's beautiful, Johnny. Though I will say it was really, really smoky Saturday.
It was kind of sad. It was eerie and but yeah. So hopefully, God bless the firefighters, and hopefully that gets under control.
In Colorado and California.
They're saying that Pine Gulch fire, by the way, will end up being the largest in Colorado's history.
Yeah, I think the 2 in California are also the largest. So, and there was one, I know, at least campground that got evacuated. So certainly if you're planning to go to California, you need to make sure you check your plans. Yeah. So at any rate. Okay. So speaking of that sort of newsy, so maybe we should talk about some news.
Yes, I think we should. Let me find the news. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Oh, stand by.
Stand by.
Please welcome Debra for Debra's News.
All right, so this is a picture of a service bay, and as you can see, it's full. And that's really the news, is that as we all have been talking about for several weeks now, RV sales are way up, RV rentals are way up. And when RV rentals and sales are way up and people are more on the road, guess what else goes up? service. So right now the service bays are packed. Most of them are saying this is busier than they ever are. Their busy season's usually like October, and they're saying this is crazy busy, and they're very backed up. Parts are on
Back order.
Thank you. And so they're really having a hard time keeping up. So certainly you want to make sure that you're planning well and taking good care of your RV so you don't have to try to put it in service bay.
I've seen it's kind of a weird time to be an RVer, especially a full-time RVer. I've seen quite a few posts of people that are thinking about getting into the lifestyle, and they're saying, hey, I hear campgrounds are full, or I hear, it's tough to buy an RV and all that sort of stuff. It's possible, just you got to plan a little bit more. And if you got to take your rig in for service, you've got to plan carefully around it.
Right. You'd have to make sure you have a plan B. And for those of you that have an RV or two hanging around, it's probably a really good time to try to sell it.
That's right.
So, but
not that we want you to leave.
No, definitely not. You're still an RVer.
That's right.
But if you wanted to upgrade, you might have a hard time with the upgrade, but you probably have a really easy time getting selling the one you're having. I hear Camping World's been putting out promotions to try to get in RVs for sales because there's just more demand than supply.
That's right.
So speaking of RVs,
that's a lot of RVs. That is crazy.
Those are all owned though, I think, or a good portion of them. That is Quartzize.
Yeah, Quartzize, Arizona.
Right. Yeah. Quartzize, Arizona, and they have their annual RV show there in January. And do you know what? It is still on.
Oh my gosh.
They're still planning to have it. They have started to put out information that they are still planning to have this show in January. They're just going to exercise caution. People will be required, of course, to wear masks. They're making the aisles bigger. They're putting in more sanitation centers and things. So they are, at this point, still planning to have it, and that is in Arizona. And you know what? We'll be in Tucson, right around that same time.
I have an odd fascination with Quartzize.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind going to the show. I did hear it's overrated, but
where else are you going to see that many RV things? Yeah. But they are telling people, don't come the first weekend. So if you are planning to go, maybe make some.
They should have time.
I think that they should, like Rocky Mountain does. Yeah. And also in Travel Canada, we've talked about this before. They had extended their the not letting people in. Well, now they've gotten even more strict because some Americans were getting in there saying they're going to Alaska, and then they were dallying. Yeah. And they were actually tourism? Yeah. They were touring Canada.
That's a new word.
That's my new word. Yeah. So now the rule is you can only enter Canada if you are a resident of Alaska or you have work there. They're also giving people hang tags that basically say you're supposed to be out of here by this time, and you can face really big fines if you don't.
And I hear they're following up. They're saying they're calling people and saying, "Are you out of the country yet?"
Well, and then I think at the parks and places that people are staying, they're like, moving on. And just so you know, because some people in one of the chats was like, just tell the Border Patrol something different. Well, if you get caught lying to a Border Patrol person, it can cost you like $1 million, and you can be banned from Canada for life. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, Johnny, the Hershey show is really big, but it did get canceled. So it is not happening this year. But so far, Quartzize is. So Barry was really curious about this one.
Why is
Johnny
there?
O'Connell?
Who is he, and why is he there?
So this is Jerry O'Connell, and he is married to Rebecca Romaja. I don't know how to
that's why he's there.
No.
Oh.
So the two of them are married, and she decided, hey, with COVID, let's go on a RV trip. So they took an RV trip up to Yellowstone.
So they're not RVers. They rented one?
They rented one.
Okay.
And he had to drive it. And he went on a show. Let me think. He went on one of those media access daily shows and basically said, don't ever go on an RV trip with your family. It's nonstop fighting. I haven't showered in a week. We tried to cook something, but it didn't work out, so we ordered pizza. I'm the only spot in all of Yosemite with like an ounce of Wi-Fi. Jeez. So he didn't enjoy his RV trip.
So he's not an RVer.
No, he's not an RVer.
Well.
But it was funny because we were having a conversation about a week before this about celebrities that might be RVers. Yeah. And so he is not one really, but he did try it. And also I heard that the Bieber was sighted in a Michigan RV camp.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not interested in that. But John Mayer has been rumored to have an RV, and I saw a picture of him with a big truck camper, four-wheel drive. One of those big expensive ones, and looked really cool. Maybe we can have him on the show one day.
That'd be awesome. and then finally, Mike Rowe, who y'all know do those dirty jobs shows.
Dirty
Dirty
Jobs.
jobs, yeah. So he and his crew decided they got through their COVID quarantine, and I think we're going a little stir crazy. So they decided, the five of them, to hit the road and go and visit some of the places that they've done in the past and just check on them.
And they're not in a big rig either.
No, they're in a small rig, but
van.
they are hanging out together and just gonna have themselves an unforgettable journey, he said. I have a funny feeling it will be. So it's some new show. Let me think. Dirty Jobs Road Trip. Get it? ROWE.
Oh, that's clever.
Road
That's
Trip.
very clever.
And so you can catch that on the Discovery Channel and see how they fared in the RV.
Very cool.
Yes.
So Larry
How's that
and
for
Teresa
news?
bought their rig at Hershey.
The Hershey.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. You never told us that before.
JJ, I know you get so used to overnight shipping that just even having to wait 24 hours, you're like, what? So now, yeah, back orders are crazy now. All right. So what else do we got? We ready to talk?
I think so. I think we're ready to
connectivity?
talk internet connectivity. It
Okay.
sounds like we still have internet. So
So far, so
that's
good.
good.
Yes, Mike is
So we're
so
kind
funny.
of experts now.
Oh,
shouldn't have said
because
that.
for 20 minutes we
Yeah.
have had it. Okay.
I shouldn't have said
Okay. So in this part of the show, Barry is going to play the part of the internet expert, and I'm going to interview him
that. Yes.
because I
Yes.
am not the internet expert. I rely on my IT man, who got fired this week, to handle all this stuff.
Yes.
I don't really
Yes.
handle this at all. So my first question is just, why doesn't this work? And then his answer is almost always to me, have you rebooted?
Yep. First thing is reboot. That's always that's if you're ever in doubt, reboot.
So, okay.
Next
So we
question.
got that one out of the way. Okay. So let's just talk about, RVers all want to know, how do I stay connected on the road, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for newbies, what would you tell them? Where should they start?
Okay, so we see this quite often when people are thinking about getting on the road, and they'll say, essentially, just tell me what to buy.
Right.
And
That's what my answer is. Just tell me what to buy.
Yeah, that's right. Just tell me what to do. And we had this conversation actually with Sheree and Chris because that's the question I asked. I wanted to go to tellmewhattobuy.com and just pick some stuff.
Get me on the internetfast.com.
Yeah, but that website doesn't exist yet. So
No. Brian.
So you can buy that, Brian. So the thing is, everyone has different needs, and resources like Sheree and Chris at their website don't have the bandwidth to tell everybody, to understand everyone's different needs and then consult with them. So the thing is, you have to, first step is write down what your expectations are of Wi-Fi. Are you just needing internet for email?
Right.
Are you
Play games?
Games, Netflix or other streaming services, and then not just up from there. If you are trying to run a live YouTube show, then you need a whole mess of stuff. So that's a great range of internet needs that you have, and frankly, no one can just tell you go buy this. Now, the closest you can come to is going to Technomedia's website.
It's not Technomadia.
Technomadia
is their
their personal one.
Yes.
But if
mobileinternetinfo.com.
Yeah, Sheree and Chris's business website, and they have tons of guides. And we became MIAs, which are mobile internet aficionados, and it's just to pay to get another level of service. So we get a little bit additional information, but they have tons of free stuff. So the first thing to do is you go to that website and you look for their guides, and they have a guide for an introduction to technology.
So if I'm saying I'm a newbie and I'm not working full time, I just want to enjoy myself while I live in my RV, they would have a guide for that. So this is probably, you just need basic, this, and this. Right?
Essentially, it's not as clear as that, and that's why you have to really dive down. It's going to take you a while, and you really have to read a lot of their guides. And that's the downside. Is it
Ooh,
takes
I
it
have to
takes a
research.
lot of it takes a lot of research to figure out what all this technology means and what parts of it do I need. And that's when you go hang out with friends, or you ask people in the virtual campground website and Facebook page, and you just start asking people, here's what I need to do. And of course, Shereen and Chris have a great Facebook page. Here's what I'm trying to do. Can you point me in the right direction?
Barry was very excited when Chris told him that basically you go from somebody that just needs email all the way to the most complicated is trying to do a live show with
Yeah.
people calling in. So Barry felt much better that
Yeah.
at least we were complicated.
Exactly.
And thus why we were not
Having
always
tough
getting
time.
on. As far as listing a whole mess of stuff, that's what we're saying. We
That's
can't
right.
list a whole mess of stuff. It depends on
We
who you are.
could. I mean, and the thing is, you could buy a whole lot of things,
Yes.
but you may not need all
them.
those things, and you're overcomplicating your deal. So you really have to understand what your objectives are, and then start doing the research.
I agree. Forum.
Yeah, forum. And that's as far as I remember, they don't have anything on there that says if you are a newbie and all you want is email, then this is what we suggest. But maybe we could do that in our forums.
Yeah. Yes. I don't think we've told everybody, but we have forums coming soon to the virtual campground, so we can answer some of these questions and have them stick around instead of on Facebook just constantly asking the same question. So we're going to get there, and you all can help.
That's right.
So yes.
Yeah, a lot of variables. Yes. Yeah, a lot of variables. Okay. What's the next question?
So tell me, this is me being really basic, but what really is Wi-Fi? Why can't I connect everywhere?
So we also see this a lot in that people will say, I want Wi-Fi. And I'm gonna jump ahead also, because people will say, I'm just gonna use campground Wi-Fi. And so Wi-Fi is essentially, for most of us, your internet cell service, your cell service being brought into the rig and acting as Wi-Fi within the rig.
So it's coming through my phone?
So yes, it's coming from your phone or a hotspot. And I brought a hotspot. I don't know if I have it handy. Oh my gosh, I might have it handy. I don't have it handy.
We have show and tell.
Yes, show and tell. So this is our hotspot. And so our AT&T cell service connects to this, and this is inside of our rig, and this becomes the Wi-Fi for all of our devices within the rig.
Right.
So it's cellular Wi-Fi. Now, people will ask about campground Wi-Fi, and campground Wi-Fi is, generally speaking, no good.
Charlie just said the same thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So exactly. Never depend on campground Wi-Fi. And I see that constantly as people will say, I'm hitting the road. I need to connect with, campground Wi-Fi so I can, do whatever. And you just cannot rely on campground Wi-Fi. Every now and then it does work.
We've had a couple.
We've had a couple where we can effectively check email. I can get into our database at work. I can do certain things.
Yeah.
But if you're really trying to stress the network,
especially you can do it from 10 in the morning till about 3 in the afternoon.
Yes.
Because then after 4, campground Wi-Fi.
People start coming back in and they start streaming Netflix and doing all kinds of stuff, uploading thousands of files. So we were
all the pictures that they took.
Yeah, all the pictures that they took. We were at a campground in Colorado, and he was extremely proud of his Wi-Fi setup in his campground. But it was being shared among, 100, 150 sites. And, you're just not going to.
Well, and he even said he had to meter it
at
certain times of the day.
You can't have it. So Wi-Fi, when people talk about Wi-Fi and RVing, generally speaking, it's your internet cell service, getting it into the rig somehow through some device, and then broadcasting that inside of the rig to your other devices.
Okay. So we have the router, but we also have something. Oh yeah, we have our hotspot. Sorry, I said router, hotspot. But we also have an antenna that you put up. So why do you put that antenna up?
So occasionally we'll get to a place that has 1 or 2 bars of AT&T service. And we have a WeBoost, and that was what my original. We just posted last week or earlier this week something about our WeBoost, where I just showed me setting up our WeBoost, but it's basically just a cellular booster. So what it does is It looks for the closest tower, essentially, and tries to amplify that signal down to your hotspot. So I put that tower up. It has a cord that goes inside the rig that attaches to our booster, and that booster then amplifies the signal that this hotspot will pick up. And usually, if when that works, we'll get 1 to 3 bars of additional connectivity. It didn't work all the time, so it's not 100% effective. But
And it
when it
doesn't
works,
work
it's
if
great.
there's not Wi-Fi in the
Oh yeah,
area.
if there's no Wi-Fi,
Yeah, it's not
all
gonna
it's
pick up
doing is
something that's not
boosting.
there.
If there's
Yes.
nothing, it's not boosting. It's boosting 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. So yeah, so you're not boosting anything. Now, what does work? You didn't ask about this.
No, but I always wonder about it. It's very flat.
Yeah, so
Doesn't
this
seem
is
like it
a
does
flat.
anything.
This is a MIMO antenna. So if you have a hotspot that has a MIMO connection on the back, and Larry Macy can probably tell us what MIMO stands for. I mean, I know, but I don't want to
Show off.
show off. But MIMO is MIMO will connect to it, and this little flat antenna. I want to say 3/4 of the time, this gives us another bar or two, even when the WeBoost doesn't work. So this is an incredible antenna, and it's only like $30-$40. And I think I put a link to it on that WeBoost YouTube.
Yes, you
thing.
did.
Yeah.
And Barry did a quick little video that showed about our WeBoost, this little Wemo.
Yeah, Mimo and the WeBoost.
Amy.
So,
But yeah, Larry, yes, our WeBoost antenna is about 30 feet, goes up in there as well.
It goes it goes 3 or 4 feet above the rig. So
and in this spot, it's where we're at. We have Wi-Fi that comes in and out, but so he has it at the cellular service. Sorry, so the antenna is attached to the bare hook for the food,
which is not working. So I mean, for us, the WeBoost at our current campground has been worthless. So that's it.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does, and I agree, Teresa. And when the internet goes down around 3 or 4 o'clock, I assume that means I can stop working. That's my thing. Yeah.
Wow, 30 feet in the air. You go, Larry. That's awesome.
So
I have antenna envy. But you're stationary for the season, so that's helpful. Yeah, you can do some things that's a little more difficult for us that's moving every few weeks.
So if connectivity is really crucial, like when you're trying to do a show, what is an option there? What's a good idea?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out.
That's right, Charlie. We've gotten so dependent on it. It is like oxygen.
Are you asking about like finding places like this, like the library that has?
Well, I think when we talked to Chris and Sherry, they talked about redundancy.
Oh my gosh, yes, redundancy. So that is something that we have learned.
That photographic memory coming in.
Yeah, exactly. That is something that we've learned, and we haven't done well. So we have Verizon and AT&T, but AT&T is our primary provider for our internet connectivity inside the rig. So we have to. So if you rely on internet to do work, and it is critical for you, then you have to have redundant plans. And so what some people will do is they'll have one of these devices for AT&T, and they'll have a similar device for Verizon. And if it's super important, they'll have a similar device for Sprint, Mobile, or one of the other providers. So then if one of them's not working, then they can just switch over to the other. Now, one of the things that Jeremy introduced us to, and that we did talk to Sheree and Chris, and they are very high on, is the concept of a bonded router. And that essentially, you take your SIM card from Verizon, for example, and your SIM card from AT&T, and you put it in this device. And it's actually made for like buses, like a Trailways bus, a Greyhound bus or whatever, that's going cross country. They'll put these in those rigs, and everyone that's in the bus will have access to Wi-Fi. But if that device sees an AT&T tower that's strong, it'll connect to that AT&T tower. As it's going down the road and it sees another antenna that's stronger, maybe it's a Verizon antenna, it's going to automatically switch over to that Verizon antenna without anyone having to do anything. And it's going to continually essentially surf for towers that have a stronger connection.
So, and if you're doing a live show, it can do that while you're doing the show, and it
Exactly.
would hopefully
It'd be
then, if
seamless.
one went down, one would come up.
Exactly.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. And like our own hotspot, every now and then when I look at it, it says T-Mobile, and we have
Yeah.
nothing T-Mobile. So why?
No. So on our hotspot, and I don't know the reason for this, maybe someone in chat does, but when the service for our hotspot, when the AT&T cell tower signal is so weak and we can't get it boosted sufficiently, AT&T, our hotspot, will automatically connect to another provider's tower.
So if it was Verizon or T-Mobile, whichever one's
I
close,
guess I don't know.
Okay.
You know, it's happened to us twice now, and it's always been
The
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
So, but when it does that, it is completely dumbed down on the speed.
Yep.
So we have horrible speed.
Least
So least
space on other towers.
So that makes sense. So yeah, so we are on a T-Mobile tower up at the campground, and it is really, really bad and slow, but it gets us our internet and some basic things done.
Jeremy says Verizon doesn't. That's probably why they're never on the hotspot. So Jeremy, you're saying it's a game changer when you do that bonded thingamabobby.
Yeah, I think so.
That's my favorite word now, right? Yes, Charlie, Chris, and Cherie was talking about that. We talked about that T-Mobile and Sprint are now buddies. And what did they say? Because we asked them who were the best providers right now.
So we asked them who the best providers were, and they said a lot depends on where you are in the country. Mm-hmm. So that's going to change, and that's another reason you need redundancy, is because like here we discovered here and in Wyoming, our recent experience has been that the AT&T service hasn't been great virtually anywhere, but AT&T still has a great deal of coverage. Verizon has a great deal. T-Mobile and Sprint are going to be is going to be a game changer. So they actually did. Well, I don't remember the details of this, but they did say there's a really good special going on right now with T-Mobile. I think they said there was a really good,
and they said
maybe a
fast.
Yeah, fast.
Get on it fast.
Full data plan, unlimited data thing. If anyone's interested in that, I'll see if I can find more details on that. But they said that may be the way to go, depending on what part of the country you're going to be in, because once they combine their towers, you're going to have a great deal of coverage.
Right, because what they were saying is one company has a lot of towers and one company has 5G. So it's going to be a big game changer for 5G.
Yes.
For those two when they combine together.
And 5G really means nothing at this point, but when it does become something that's reliable and more prevalent, then that will be great.
Right. And that's really helpful for RVers when they have that. So, yes. So Jeremy says he would like to know. So, and one of the things I do remember Chris and Sherry saying to us is that when they tout these specials, you need to jump on them quickly. And in fact, yesterday I was watching RV Miles did something, and Verizon had this week or last week a special that was going on that was going to be really beneficial to RVers because it was going to untether them and give them, it sounded like it was going to give them much more data. Mm-hmm. And then within 4 days they shut it down. Yeah. So if you hadn't found it then, and I didn't find it until today, so was going to pass it on, but it was already gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, when you see those things, and again, that'll be something that if anybody hears of something, please shout out in our Facebook and let everybody else in the RV world know that these things come out quickly. Yeah.
And to that point, we this is starting to sound like a commercial for Chris and Cherie, and it really isn't. We're not affiliate sponsors of them or anything. We
just know, we just trust them.
Yeah, we trust them, and their team is fantastic. When we were about to hit the road, we had become MIA members, and
what does MIA stand for?
Mobile Internet Aficionado, and it's their it's not a Patreon, but it's like that where you get additional information that other people don't. And one of the things you get is an email alert, and they sent out an email alert about AT&T just before we hit the road saying that AT&T is discontinuing this amazing unlimited hotspot plan, and that you have until this date to get it. I went immediately to Best Buy, bought the hotspot, got it hooked up to our plan. I think the day before the plan ended, and that saved our bacon.
Yeah, it really has.
That perspective.
Larry, what's OTR? Or do you know what OTR is?
On the road, over the road, mobile?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Then they have T-Mobile and are going 5G. Okay.
OTR, we use OTR Mobile. Yeah, it may be one of those. Yeah. So there are a lot of other internet providers besides the big four, but my understanding is most, if not all of them, have to lease their internet connectivity from one of the big four because the big four are the ones that own the towers.
Right. And I think that, again, going back to why the T-Mobile and who was it, this Sprint, that combination was going to be so huge because of the towers of one getting, so.
Yep. All right. What next?
So you did talk about the WeBoost. So just, we did find this out yesterday as well. So just letting people know, did you want to pop up that thing about WeBoost?
Oh,
that,
yes.
That our good friends at Tech.
Nope, that's not it.
that's Chris and Sherry, Chris and Garrison. That's their internet, their site, in case you didn't have it. But wanted to let you know, Techno RV is doing a sale right now on WeBoost. They also happen to be doing a sale on the Garmin RV GPS. But to let you know, it's $50 off if you don't have one and want one. You can use this link, and that is an affiliate link right there, so we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, but we need to buy diesel.
Well, we also need to buy the things to keep the show going.
Yeah, we need.
And if you use Summer 50 in the checkout, you'll get $50 off. So just FYI, and that's in the show notes as well.
Cool.
Yeah. So one little helpful thing, I think. So we talked a lot about.
When that ended?
It ends the end of August.
End of August. Okay.
So that's Monday.
Pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So a week. So we talked a lot about the providers. Is there any one provider that's better than the other? I mean, is there any? How do they decide who's the best?
Well, if you look at that's another thing that Chris and Cherie have done is they have an app, and I can't remember. It's a cell coverage app. If you go to the carriers' websites, the coverage maps are, for a large extent, they're essentially marketing. They are not completely accurate. So it's really tough to know who's really best. But when you look at them, AT&T, Verizon, generally speaking, have the better coverage as of today.
But when they show you the map, because I asked this the other day, because I was like, well, just look at the map. But the map is really just marketing, and it doesn't really necessarily mean a lot, right?
Yeah, you could. The map is going to include 2G and 3G coverage for the most part. And, like we're experiencing on the campground, it's 3G. It's going to be really slow. And 2G is virtually worthless, if it even still exists. I don't know. But so it's mostly marketing. So it's really tough to say.
And why are places like Wyoming was horrible as far as the internet and even cell phone connection went, and certainly nothing in the national park. So why is it that spots like that are so bad?
Well, it is a huge investment for the cell phone providers to build a tower. And so they cannot justify going into sparsely populated areas and putting a tower there just for the common good. I mean, there is a big push for rural areas to get better internet. And that's one of the things satellites that we should remember to talk about is going to provide. But cell phone companies have to go where the buyers are. And if there are no buyers out in the middle of Wyoming, or in small towns of Wyoming, or very few buyers, then they just can't afford to put a tower there.
Johnny says population density drives cell tower
construction. He said that much more succinctly.
He did. Thank you, Johnny. So speaking of, what is the future of a cell phone?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
I thought you would.
So the really cool thing is,
when is Elon Musk going to fix this problem?
That's right. Elon Musk has already put a bunch of satellites out.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, billions probably. I mean, just tons and tons of satellites. So they just entered in their private beta. So if you know someone affiliated with SpaceX, then you might be able to get into the private beta. You have to fill out an application and stuff, but they've just entered into a private beta, and then they have a lot more satellites. It takes a ton of satellites to make this happen. So the reality is, for RVers, we are probably 2 to 3 years away, I would guess, from having a real solution for internet connectivity from a satellite. Now Hughes is already there. Hughes has been there for years, and they have satellites. Larry, correct me if I'm wrong. They're higher up the geosynchronous orbit, I think. But Hughes Hughes is already there, but the product is fairly expensive and it's not completely reliable.
Well, okay, so these are satellites, and I remember when we were out boondocking in Durango area or Salida that we saw the satellite going by. So basically, as long as I could see it, I could get connectivity, right? But the minute it goes around the whatever,
So their plan is they're going to put so many up in the air, there will always be one
visible
in the spaces that they're putting them, visible to those spaces. So they so they have to get tons of satellites up there, and I do not have any reports of latency. There is a lot of information that hasn't been put out about those, about the SpaceX's, and then Amazon just made an investment of over $10 billion. That's billion with a B. About I can't remember the name of the company, but Amazon wants people all over the world to be able to buy Amazon products.
They want to be able to get you your Amazon product the next day.
So they have made a huge investment with a competing satellite company, and they are just getting started. So they've got a lot of work to do to catch up. And there's several great articles on Chris and Cherie's website about this whole satellite thing.
But they also did warn people that they said some people were kind of waiting to see, and that's when they were going to invest in their cell program. They said, it's probably going to be at least 2 years away, which you said too, right?
Yeah.
So don't be hanging around waiting for it. It's not coming any day.
It's not going to be a solution for a while. And Chris had a great point. Well, two things. One is if you're an early adopter and you love this sort of technology, then you may be willing to spend the money. They haven't announced how much for SpaceX, how much the box, some sort of box like this is going to have to be in your rig, and there's going to have to be a device outside of your rig to
that'll be a weight
capture
issue.
the satellite. Well, they have rigs with satellites on them now for Dish Network and DirecTV and that sort of thing. So it's going to be similar to that. They did announce that it's going to be like I think an oblong kind of oval shaped antenna or whatever, but they haven't, to my knowledge, announced any pricing yet. So, but it's going to be fairly expensive to buy the gear. And then what are the monthly costs? They haven't announced that, to my knowledge. They haven't announced what those monthly costs are. And until they get thousands of satellites up there, it's only going to be another solution. It's not going to be for a long time a primary solution for you. So you will it may be that you have your AT&T, your Verizon, and your satellite coverage.
Okay. So Teresa's telling us that Larry's going to adopt early and let us all know how it goes, and then we can
he'll be our own little beta tester.
Our beta tester, and let the rest of us know. And Jimmy says, and I didn't realize this, that in Campinium, they have a cell phone coverage map overlay that you can turn on when you're searching for a campground. So I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So,
they are members. I didn't realize that.
I know Campendium is great because they will tell you, they do have a section on there about cell coverage, and then you read the reviews, and often they'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
So
that's usually how we find out that are a viewer in the past 3 months. Because you also, which is the other thing that drives me crazy, right? So because we were here at the library one day, and it was great, and then we came another day, and it was not so great, and so it varies.
Yeah.
Even within an hour.
Yeah, don't ask me why.
Yes, okay. We'll
ask Larry why.
Larry, why does that happen?
Yeah, or Jeremy, I don't know. Ask somebody else. Now, Johnny has some friends in the radio industry, so...
Johnny, maybe you can tell me. Tell me
Right.
why. Because I can tell you that the last hour before this show, my IT man was going a little crazy because it kept changing.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, any other questions? I think I'm out of questions.
No, I think we covered the basics. Are there any questions from the audience, so to speak? Let's go through here.
I didn't see any. Mostly conversations back and forth.
Okay, cool.
So, but we are, like we said, Chris and Sherry.
Yeah, the real deal.
Generous with their time with us, and have promised to come back and talk with us again.
Yeah.
So, probably in October. They actually are, this is their time of year where they're on the boat off of Florida, which also happens to be hurricane season. So they can't make lots of long-term plans, and so we just know sometime in October. But they have assured us that they would come back on, And then now we have the basics covered. We can ask the harder questions of the people that know.
That's
So,
right.
how many baud does your modem have?
256. Yeah.
That sounds like
256 baud. Yeah.
Does that have something to do with Shakespeare?
No.
Okay. Okay. Is there anyone?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's a great question,
Charlie.
You
Well,
know,
you know
I
what,
think,
Heath? Go to Heath.
I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, when Heath
Yeah.
and Alyssa buy the campground, then their dream is to have super fast
streaming.
It'll be interesting to see how they can pull that
if
off.
they can help set a bar maybe
Right,
for
exactly.
other people.
And then, yeah,
But
exactly.
I mean, campgrounds, I think in general, and RV industry has a long way to go to catch up with present, let alone be ahead of the curve.
They're quite a bit behind. No,
okay.
I don't have Jeremy. I don't have in my. How about this? Yeah, no, that doesn't sound like
mail.
an AT&T.
No, that's
I don't
like
have
the
the dial-up.
AOL. You've got mail.
Well, I think that might give me hives if I heard that again. Those were the days.
Oh, the bard, not the bad. Right. Oh, well, fine. Okay, so that wraps up our internet connectivity conversation.
Thanks for
and
putting
we
up
actually
with
didn't say connectivity very often. We told people that could be their drink word, but you're right, Johnny. It could have been. I can't remember now what you told me was the word for drinking. But yeah, really. So here are the experts. Go to their website, mobileinternetinfo.com. They have a lot of free information. They're very generous with their information. And so definitely you can get more from them.
Oh, we had a good question.
Jeremy Bromwell asked, can you make the noise of an AOL dial-up? And Larry, of course, says, great question. And Johnny says, all you have to do is pay the phone bill to get internet in a campground.
I don't think so.
Their phone bill? Okay.
Johnny, I did look at that antenna. That looks really, really good. Might have to do that.
What was the name of that antenna?
Oh.
Thank you, Brian.
Super G awesome antenna thing.
A thingamabobby. That's it. Johnny, thingamabob. That was the drink word. So we do have, since we have time, one other thing, because tomorrow is National Dog Day, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
So we thought we'd play some really fast little game.
Oh.
So can you bring up, did you get it?
Oh, you know what? Did I put that in here?
Dogs, yeah.
Dogs, yeah, right there.
All right. So here are 5 puppies.
Cute.
What kind of dogs do these 5 puppies grow up to be?
Bigger dogs.
Bigger dogs. No, their breed is what I'm asking. Oh. So this is a cute little quiz from the American Kennel Club. So let's start with what would that be? The top left? That gold dog?
Gold, yeah, that's a golden.
So anybody want to guess what kind of dog that is?
It's a golden retriever.
No.
Oh.
Jeremy is correct. Do you know what kind of Cocker Spaniel?
A golden Cocker Spaniel.
Nope. Charlie Grace, I'm going to take points off from you if you don't know these answers. So it is an English Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, that's right. Of course.
Of course. Okay. That adorable face to the right of that Cocker Spaniel. Do you know what that is? The little black and white one. That face is enough to make me think, okay, maybe I do want a puppy dog.
That's pretty darn cute.
Yeah, pretty darn cute.
Yeah. But that's especially cute.
Yeah. It's just like babies, and then they grow up to be teenagers.
Yeah.
Anybody know what that puppy is in the upper right corner? I feel like that song, the doggy in the window. Nope, what? It's not a Schnauzer. Yes, it is scruffy looking. That's a good name for him.
That's not a type of dog.
No.
Do you know what it is?
I do.
Did you write down the answers?
I did write down the answers because I was scared I would forget. So nobody's getting it.
Any hints?
Yes, I will give you a hint. The Obamas have one.
Oh, you're going to need a better hint than that.
Some people would know that.
I guess
they bought it while they were in the White House.
More culturally hip people.
It made the news.
Well, yeah. Oh, so you have to watch the news to get this right.
There you go. Nope, not a sheepdog. It does kind of have a sheepdog face, doesn't he? But no.
You might have to get more hints.
Well, that's the only hint I really know because I don't know very much about dogs
Right.
to be able to. So I'm just going to give you the answer. The answer is a Portuguese water dog.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I would have never gotten that.
No. And how about the one on the left there with the little cute big ears, white with the little black face mask?
Looks kind of like a bat.
Yes, Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy got it. Right.
Sorry if I ruined it and said it first. It was my hint to let you know it. I know it. Yes. So the one in the lower corner, and I think, is Jen on tonight? I think I saw you earlier. I think it's the same kind of dog as Shooter, but maybe I'm wrong.
That's a good hint for her.
And people that know Shooter. I think that's right. Yeah, that's right. I know, Charlie. It is everything is a doodle something, but this one, none of mine are doodles. None of these are doodles. That has a lot of hair. There's no way that's a hairless anything.
No.
Pekingese. How you spell? No, not a Pekingese though. That's what my guess was too. That one is Jen. Are you there? That one is, and I'm not sure I'm going to say it right. That is a Papillon.
Papillon? You've got some obscure dogs on here.
Well, no, that's not an obscure dog, actually. And if you see in the funny, I wish I should have done, I'm sorry, the grown-up pictures, because they really change.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And the one in the middle, now that one is obscure to me. The next two are very obscure. So anybody can guess what the next two are. Yes, Charlie, that's it. The next two, the last two. It means butterfly. I guess because he has big ears.
Wasn't it also
there you go.
a TV show in the 70s? Or
Papillon?
Yeah, am I getting that wrong?
I think you're getting that wrong. But I don't know, maybe. A detective show?
Yeah.
There was something I can't remember. But at any rate, anybody know what the next two are? Because these two I had never heard of before. And both of them, I think, grow up to be quite long-haired. I know, that's what I thought. It looked kind of like a basset hound, Jeremy. But it is something... Yes, you're right, Johnny. It was a movie.
It was a movie, okay.
Johnny
got it right.
It isn't a basset hound. It has a sad face, and when it grows up, it looks very different. And it has a very European name.
Pierre.
Well, no. It would be more like Luigi, but no.
Oh, wow. He escaped from the prison in French
That's
Guiana.
it, Papillon. Yes, that's right. You're right. Of course Larry would know that. Okay.
He's a walking IMDb. Well, he's a walking everything.
Reverend Dr. Larry. Yes, you can spend your 1,000,000 points now, Johnny. And your 1,000,000 points will tell you that the answer is, the middle one is a Havaness. I know I should have gotten the big pictures, Teresa. I'm sorry. I will show you them. Go to the American Kennel Club quiz, and you can see all these plus a few others, and they're adorable. And then the white one that looks like a basset hound is called a Spinoni Italiano.
What?
I'm not making this up. That's how you spell it, right? Yes, Charlie. Does he look Italian to you? Okay, just those sad eyes, maybe.
Yeah, and the way he's posing.
All right.
Sticking his rear end up in the air. I don't know what it is.
Well, they're adorable.
They are,
Charlie.
And we're not getting a dog.
We're not getting Drew, her dad. So, yeah. Really cute. So you can go to the American Kennel Club. Those of you that love dogs, they have that quiz about puppies. They have one about dogs' noses, if you can tell what kind of dog it is by their nose. And then, one that was really interesting, they had dogs and they showed you, like, what was it bred for? So, for instance...
like a sheepdog bred for herding sheep.
Right. Or like the St. Bernards were rescue dogs. But there are some that were for guard dogs for monasteries.
Yeah,
and
Cabernet dog
like
for drinking wine.
Lapso was a guard dog for monasteries. Can you believe that? That's why they were bred. Some were bred to, like, hunt rats. So anyway,
You're making this up.
I'm not. I'm going to show you the quiz. No, not yet. But trust me, it's coming. All right, so that was it. I think that's all for the show tonight.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Hey, we did have one game changer I learned this week, and I was going to ask you guys, do you have any game changers you learned this week? But mine one Did you know you can make pasta in the Instapot?
That's crazy.
Crazy. We made the pasta stuff, and you put the pasta on top with a little bit of water on it. Comes out perfect. It was awesome. One pot for everything.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm hungry.
Charlie, you cannot have Debra on Dog Talk. That what she has just shared with you is what she knows about dogs.
Yeah, yes. She would have Google on one screen. And,
yes, all the dogs are thingamabobs, Johnny. They have thingamabobs. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And,
thank you for putting up with us and coming back.
Yeah.
And it worked. Yay to the internet gods.
As far as we know, it worked.
Yes, as far as y'all didn't tell us it didn't, so we assume it did. So we're gonna leave you on the note of don't forget to subscribe and the like, and also leave no trace. There's a lot going on right now in the world, and people are not taking care of the campgrounds. So please take care of the campgrounds for all of us in the virtual campground, plus all of the ones that will be in the virtual campground in years to come.
Pick up for yourself and pick up, stuff you see around that other people have left.
Yes. So what are we going to do on the outro?
So the outro, we have Yellowstone, I think. Grand Tetons. Grand Tetons. Yeah, Grand Tetons.
Wyoming.
So,
we published our first blog on Wyoming this weekend. Yeah, and we have 2 more to come. The one was on just general Wyoming, and then the 2 to come are one on Grand Teton and one on the Yellowstone.
Yeah. So, all right. Always great to hang out with you. Thank you so much. Until we can see you in person, we hope to see you in the virtual campground.
Stay safe out there.
Bye.